the channel. I'm back to break down this 8-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you guys build those bankrolls and win some money. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, fan favorite segment on this channel. And if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, looking for some further, more in-depth content, I do offer a premium package that's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. Starting pitcher data sheet, high hitter, Statcast data, splits leaderboard, team inning data, bullpen data, my power rankings, and my cheat sheet. And with all of that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. So as always, I like to go ahead and start my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts and figure out the top pitcher on the slate, and then we'll get into batters on the second half of the breakdown. Top guy on the slate today is going to be Zach Thompson, taking on the San Diego Padres. Comes in with a 29.2% K overall, a 13.7 swinging strike rate, 27.7% K rate against righties, and a 31.3% K rate against lefties. So has been very effective as far as K rate's concerned on the season. Only problem is he has to take on a San Diego Padres team today that has been very good. And then also when looking at his pitch count, it has been fluctuating anywhere from like 90 pitches to 60 pitches, it looks like, oftentimes. So that's a little bit scary to be going to that and really relying on that for, you know, one of your top pitching options. If you'd like to go there, I understand there's definitely talent, but I mean, also the Padres really don't strike out a lot. The Padres and the Astros are the worst teams to target this year as far as from a strikeout standpoint. They really don't strike out a lot. So anytime I see one of those two teams, I'm going to have a lot less interest. Second on the list, we got Blake Snell taking on the Miami Marlins. Comes with a 28.2% K overall and 11.8 swinging strike rate. 24% K rate against righties and a 42.3% K rate against lefties. Has been very, very bad against right-handed hitting as far as hard contact, ground ball, and all that stuff. And the strikeout rate definitely has dipped against those righties. He has seen a major dip in price tag as well, though. Over here on DraftKings, they're going to price only at 7.8. On FanDuel, he's only priced at 7.5. We're looking at his recent game logs. You can see 3Ks, 3Ks, 5Ks, 4 runs, 0-0 last few times. Really hovering around that 80 to 90 pitch mark. Not really stretching it out too much, but I mean, you can't ask for a much better matchup and you can't ask for a much better ballpark than Miami. Pulling up the diagram that I was like to show you guys as far as from a hitting environment aspect, pitching environment aspect, you can see there's a lot of red going on the sheet, so not the best ballpark for hitters in Marlins Park. The ball really doesn't carry here, and if he's able to get some of the strikeouts that we know he's very capable of at this kind of price, I think Blake Snell makes a lot of sense as a play today. I think it's definitely a situation you could stack against him as well, but the ballpark just is going to automatically make me lean towards the pitcher here. Andrew Heaney taking on the Minnesota Twins, another guy that's seen his price tag dip, a 28.1% K overall, 12.9 swing strike rate, 31.2% K rate against righties, and a 19.8% K rate against lefties. So has been very, very dominant as far as strike rate against righties. Lefties on the season, not so much, a little bit ironically considering he's a left-handed hurler himself. The Minnesota Twins have been very good against left-handed pitching this year. And when you're looking at Heaney stuff, as mentioned, he does give up quite a bit of hard contact, but the strikeouts are there. And then not to mention the price tag has dipped on him as well. He's all the way down to 6.9. Looking at his most recent performances, 4, 3, 7, 5, and 3 earned runs. So it kind of makes sense. You know, really has not been pitching the greatest. Last time getting blown out by Seattle. If he's able to break through here, though, you know, you get him at a very friendly discount. Only 6.9 on DraftKings, on FanDuel, only 7.1. Similar to Blake Snell. Both of these guys, maybe they garner some ownership because of it, but they have taken a major dip down in price. We have another guy in a good matchup, Charlie Morton, taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that's been striking out a lot on the season. A 27.7% K overall, 12.6 swinging strike rate, 25.9% K rate against righties, and a 30.4% K rate against lefties. So has been really, really good here. And more importantly, like I said, the matchup taking on these Phillies today is a matchup that's definitely going to inflate the strikeout rate. Only problem is it's in Philadelphia, which is not the best pitching environment, but the Phillies do only have a 4.19 implied run total. Vegas expecting Morton to definitely go out there and be able to shut him down pretty good here. So all the more reason to like Charlie Morton today. Definitely going to have some interest in him. Luis Patino taking on the Cleveland Indians. The Indians are a team that I've been targeting quite a bit, honestly, from a strikeout aspect. They're also a team that's been striking out a bunch here recently in the season. 27.6% K overall, 11.3 swinging strike rate, 31.7% K rate against righties, and a 16.7% K rate against lefties. So you can see really reliant on targeting Patino against right-handed heavy teams as far as strikeout rate is concerned, and that's the only issue here. And then when you're also looking at his pitch count, he's been right around 90 pitches. So, I mean, starting to really go up there in pitch counts. I mean, that's becoming less of a concern, but he has given up 5 and 4 in runs the last 2 times against Toronto and Baltimore. Maybe an interesting cheap option, actually, at only 6.5. I mean, Cleveland does have quite a few lefties, and as mentioned, we do prefer to target him against right-handed hitting, but at the same time, there's plenty of righties blended in there, and the strikeout rate for these guys is just really high, and they only have a 4.16 implied run total. He's 5.7 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's priced at 6.5. I do think that he's the guy you could be playing in your lineups if you are really into an expensive stack today. Like, you think that there's a stack that's expensive that you just can't pass up on. It might make sense to go down to some of these cheap guys. Tanner Houck taking on the New York Yankees, 26.8% K overall, 12.1 swinging strike rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff has been very good. Against righties, he has a 27.6% K rate. Also a 536 slug given up, though, so he's been striking out a lot of people, giving up a lot of hard contact. If you would like to target him against the Yankees, as far as his pitch count is concerned, that's going to be an important thing because, I mean, obviously we don't really want to be targeting a guy that's only throwing 50 pitches, and he has only been right around 50 pitches, so I'm not sure how long of a leash he's going to have here, but I tend to think he's going to be right around like 70 pitches max. So he is very cheap, 5.3 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, I have him priced at 6.7. That seems to be a little bit much for me, but yeah, that's the story with him. Definitely some strikeouts that he had. Maybe if we get some confirmation that he's going to get a guaranteed amount of pitches, I'd have more interest, but Walker Buehler taking on the San Francisco Giants. Sean Manaea taking on the Seattle Mariners. We have Kenta Maeda taking on the Los Angeles Angels. As we continue along this list here, things definitely do get a lot less interesting for me. Buehler taking on the Giants would be the next place that I'm really looking today. It comes in as a 175 favorite. The Giants only have a 3.25 implied run total. So Vegas obviously expecting him to be able to go out there and get the win here, which we always like to see. 8 Ks last time out in Colorado, taking on the Colorado Rockies, only 2 earned runs. That's an impressive start again. Has looked really, really good. 8, 7, 6, 7, and 6 Ks the last few times out. So no issues with it going to Walker Buehler. Sean Manaea taking on the Seattle Mariners is a team we've been looking to target all season long. They're just really not that good of a team. So if you want to go to him, it would definitely make some sense based upon the matchup. He comes in as a 142 favorite in Seattle. No issues with that. And then lastly, we do have Kenta Maeda taking on the Los Angeles Angels. A little bit more of a risky thing, but he does have a 13.9 swing strike rate, 25% K overall, 24.3% K rate against righties, and a 25.6% K rate against lefties. So Maeda has definitely been getting the job done for sure as far as his most recent performances, and seeing how he squares up there. You can see he's all the way up to 9K on DraftKings. Have seen him strike out 8, 7, and 10 the last few times out, 97, 84, and 90 pitches with only 3, 0, and 0 earned runs. So starting to really turn things around here. And I think this Angels lineup is a bit washed down. They definitely do have some strikeouts. He's a 147 favorite. He's the last guy I'd be looking to target as far as pitching is concerned. So with that being said, let's go ahead and switch it over to bats. As always, I'd like to go ahead and start my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA. And the worst guy on the slate today by far is Matt Moore taking on the Atlanta Braves. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is terrible. Only a 19.9 K rate, only an 8.8 swing strike rate, a 590 slugging given up to righties, 20.5% K overall. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. A WOBA is terrible. Against lefties, he does get a lot better. He's a left-handed hurler himself, but every single righty that cracks in this Atlanta Braves lineup tonight is definitely going to be interesting for me. I'm not scared of Matt Moore, not scared of the bullpen. Dansby Swanson, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Orlando Arcia, Heredia, Kevin Smith can play all those guys. And then you can definitely play the lefties to round out your stacks in Jock Peterson and Freddie Freeman. If they're able to get Matt Moore out of this game early, we're not really too worried about the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen either. So definitely like the Atlanta Braves stack. Cal Quantrill taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's respectable. The swing strike rate and the K rates are really, really bad, but the hard contact stuff he does a great job of limiting, especially against righties, except the lefties is where things get really, really bad. Because of a 492 slugging to those lefties, ground ball, fly ball stuff is not terrible. Is terrible. A 38.3% hard hit rate against those lefties. And we definitely do like to target him with left-handed hitting. So these Tampa Bay Rays bats in Cleveland today, definitely going to be intriguing options as far as Cleveland and the ballpark environment there. How it plays to these hitters. You can see, looking at the diagram here, it plays very friendly to left-handed hitters specifically. So that's always great to see down that right field line. Definitely like targeting them in Cleveland. So the Rays lefties, Brandon Lau, Wander Franco, Austin Meadows, G-Man Choi, Joey Wendell, Kevin Kiermaier, Taylor Wall is going to have interest all the way down. And of course, no issues with playing Randy Rosarino to round out your stack, or Mike Zunino. Both guys have a lot of power. Just keep in mind, Quantrill is a lot better against righties than lefties. But of course, if they get to the bullpen, those righties can still have good games. And they could have good games anyways. I just greatly do prefer those lefties for sure. Kim taking on the Chicago Cubs. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's been respectable. Hard contact stuff's been respectable. He's been pretty average across the board, honestly. Not the greatest. If he does give up hard contact, it's through those righties. But even then, been doing a good job of keeping the ball on the ground. The Cubs are in St. Louis. Not a good hitting environment. So that's a no for me on the Cubs today. Chris Flexen taking on the Oakland Athletics. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's been pretty decent. The hard contact stuff's been decent. Against righties is where he's been struggling the most. A 417 slug giving up. The ground ball, fly ball stuff does get a little bit bad there. Against lefties, he has been pretty good. So the Oakland A's righties are really the ones I'm looking to if I am. I'm not too interested in targeting the A's overall, but Mark Canha, Elvis Andrus at the top, Matt Chapman, Ramon Laureano, Sean Murphy. You can play them if you want. Still not getting all too excited about it, but let's see if you go into if you have to. Blake Snell, we had mentioned pitching him, but also a ton of hard contact given up. He's had a bad walk rate, 48 slugging given up to righties, a 38.1% hard contact rate, 385 WOBA. Ground ball, fly ball stuff still has been pretty decent, unfortunately, but if you want to stack up these Miami Marlins today, I wouldn't call you crazy at all. I'd feel a lot better about it if they weren't in Miami, of course. The ballpark just really doesn't play that well, but Miguel Rojas, Starling Marte, Jesus Aguilar, Adam Duvall, Jorge Alfaro, John Birdie, all those righties you can be looking to today. Lewis Brinson if you'd like. Once again, not my favorite stack. Jordan Montgomery taking on the Boston Red Sox, a guy that's had some issues with hard contact, the ground ball, fly ball stuff, a 415 slugging unit up to righties. Really good against lefties, but righties is where they can give them an issue. So, of course, the Red Sox righties in this lineup that can really mash off lefties are going to be intriguing plays today. And then, not to mention, Jordan Montgomery has been a lot better at home for an extended part of his career now. I can tell you that much. So, when he's on the road, definitely like the righties with some power here that mash off left-handed pitching. So, Enrique Hernandez, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Hunter Renfroe, Christian Vasquez, Bobby Dalbec, Michael Chavis. Red Sox lineup is definitely designed to hit left-handed pitching pretty well when they load it up with these guys like Dahlbeck and Chavis. I mean, these guys can strike out a lot, but they also have a ton of power. And Montgomery only has a 22.9% carry against those righties, so definitely think they're a good stack. Descalfani, the lefties is really what gets him taking on these Dodgers today. Good against righties. Lefties is where it gets really bad. Ground ball, fly ball stuff isn't the greatest. A 38.9% hard contact rate with a 386 slugging given up. So as far as these Dodgers lefties, who you're looking to today, of course, Max Muncy, Cody Bellinger, Zach McKinstry, really the only ones you got in there. So actually a pretty decent matchup for Descalfani, but definitely like the lefties for the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda, it's the same story for him. It's the lefties that have been giving him issues. Righties, he's been a lot better. A 446 slugging given up to lefties. Overall, you could definitely target Maeda as well. They only have a 4.36 implied run total, but the Minnesota bullpen is terrible, so Ohtani, Walsh, of course, are going to be my favorite options, but you can put in Max Stassi, Brandon Marsh, Taylor Ward, Adam Eaton, all these guys. I mean, you can definitely stack against Maeda. You can definitely pitch him as another situation where you could do both. Alzolay, very simple to break down as well. Very good against righties. Very, very bad against lefties. Worst on the board against lefties by far. 607 slugging, giving up a 393 WOBA. That's really bad. So these Cardinals lefties, you got to be looking to today. It's in St. Louis, which isn't the best hitting environment I've mentioned, but I mean, this guy's numbers are that bad against lefties to the point of where, you know, Dylan Carlson's going to be a great play at the top of the order, Tommy Edman at the bottom of the order. Unfortunately, the rest of them are righties, so another situation similar to Descalfani. We're talking about the Dodgers. Alzolay could be a much better play than you would typically think just because of how right-handed heavy this lineup is. It has pretty much a 30% carry against righties, so make that as a mental note if you want to play him against this team today. That actually kind of makes some sense. Andrew Heaney taking on Minnesota. I mentioned they've been really, really good against lefties. A ton of power in this lineup. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. A 461 slugging it up to those righties. Of course, we'd prefer for him to not have such a high K rate against those righties, but that's part of the battle here. But Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garver, Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson, Miguel Sano, Celestino, and Anderson Simmons. Of course, my favorite options would be that middle of the order in Nelson Cruz, Josh Donaldson. Garver's really good against left-hand pitching as well, though. Sano can definitely crush. Just a matter of whether he strikes out or not. But Minnesota definitely making some sense as a stack. And once we get past them, things really aren't that interesting outside of, we mentioned Tanner Houck taking on the New York Yankees. His ground ball, fly ball stuff has been really good except for against righties. Not really the greatest, honestly, and a 536 slugging against righties. The Yankees are a very right-handed heavy lineup. Houck's also got a 27.6% K against those righties, though. So it's probably going to be a lot of damage done or strikeouts done for the Yankees, but I do think their stack makes sense, being like he's giving up so much slugging to righties. That's really what you need when you're targeting these Yankees bats. So, Jesus LeMahieu, Giancarlo Stanton, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, Greg Allen. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of lefties at the bottom of the order, and this Yankees lineup is pretty watered down with some injuries to Gio Urshela and Aaron Judge as far as, well, being put on the COVID list. So, yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate there, but what are you going to do? I do think the Yankee stack is pretty viable, and with all that being said, that is my overall breakdown here. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Austin Riley. Taking on Matt Moore, gives up a bunch of hard contact to right-handed hitting, a 590 slug, giving up 36.7% hard contact rate, a 410 WOBA, 48.1% fly ball rate, giving up a lot of fly balls, a lot of hard contact. Great spot here. Great ballpark for Austin Riley as well in Philadelphia. Plays very well to hitters. Down that left field line, no issues with targeting it, and then when you're breaking down repertoire as far as what Matt Moore goes to, very reliant on the fastball. On average, you're looking at about a 91 and 92 mile-an-hour fastball, and Austin Riley crushes that pitch off left-handed, pitching a 444 ISO with a 595 WOBA. And then as far as the secondary stuff, he'll go to that changeup about 18% of the time, and Riley crushes that pitch as well. A 308 ISO with a 389 WOBA, and lastly, he'll break out the curveball to finish hitters off, and not an issue for Riley either. Small sample size, but over 4 batted ball events, he has a 1000 ISO with a 653 WOBA. Love this spot for Austin Riley. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Austin Riley, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.